My topic today is starting anew. I've sometimes wondered, why do we celebrate New Year's? It's another day. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, things continue to go on. But it has a very powerful meaning to me now in that it's a reminder that we can start anew. We can start over. We can set our reset button. Sometimes I've had difficulties, for example, with my phone. And I found, okay, let me turn it off for a little while. Just completely turn it off and then let it reboot, and then it operates better. Sometimes we get all this old programming and some of the material condition that we are immersed in. When I watch the news, when I am hearing about lack or fear, that programming can really restrict our ability to express the divine as us. So what is it that we need to let go of? The power of this month is faith, symbolized by the color blue and the Apostle Peter. And faith is our belief system. Faith is that which propels us to do what it is we do. A person may say, well, I believe such and such, but if they act in a different way, that's not really what they believe. You can tell what you really believe by how you live and act. If you live in anxiety, then you have beliefs that are firmly entrenched in fear. If you live in, abundance, then you are entrenched in beliefs that are based in the fact that everything that we need is already here, and all I need to do is open myself to it and avail myself of it and appropriate that. All that I need is already here. It's up to us. What we live according to your belief, be it done unto you, is what Jesus said. According to your belief, let it be done unto you. That is the power of faith. And when we start the year in the 12 powers, we start with that power of faith. At any point, we can change our mind. I was thinking when I was a child, when I saw here this morning, there was lots of fog. And I went outside. It was very cool and damp, a little drizzly, lots of fog. I could hear birds singing so beautifully. And I flashed back to when I was a child. I can remember very, very far back. And as a young child, I can remember the first time I heard the word foggy. But I thought they were saying the word froggy, like a frog. Ribbit, ribbit, okay? So I don't know if someone out of fun had given me this explanation of fog or what, but I thought they were saying froggy, and I could hear frogs. And so I thought that the frogs, by the sound that they were making, were creating this mist. It was froggy out. And I thought that for a year or two, that the frogs were creating. And I think that's cute, but eventually I outgrew that belief. Eventually I realized, the frogs, I don't think are really what's creating the fog. And it's not froggy, it's foggy. And so at any time we can shift our beliefs to be more in alignment with our understanding, which is another of the 12 powers. At any time we can shift our mind. We can change our mind. We can actually, and I use this term a lot, transform. Transform is not only changing how we do things on the outside, it's changing from the inside. In reality, the Fillmores, the co-founders of the Unity movement, pointed out that transformation is really about revealing and bringing forth the Christ the divine presence, what we really are, bringing that forth and taking away, releasing, letting go of those things that are inhibiting and keeping in that divine presence. So in Unity, we have this practice of letting go of things so that we can reveal the Christ. We can reveal the divine presence. I remember talking with a therapist, and I was moaning and complaining. Have you ever gotten into a moaning and complaining session? We have a few volunteers here. Yeah? Have you, watching online, have you ever gotten into a moaning and complaining session? I was a pastor, and I was complaining about how difficult it is for people to change. In fact, I was saying, I question if anybody can really change. I had some challenging people who never seemed to change. And I was doing my best as a minister, but I thought, no matter what I do, they seem to stay the same. This therapist got kind of a wry smile on his face. And he said, I wonder if that's why you and me went into the business that we are in, because we have a deep belief and hope that people can change. And with that one sentence, suddenly all of my pessimism seemed to crumble, because I realized that is my deep belief, that all of us can transform, all of us can shift, we can change. Otherwise, what's the point of life? If we can't grow, if we can't evolve, if we can't live fully into our dreams. I was watching last night a young boy, this was on America's Got Talent, and there's a video, and this young boy who has some neurological differences and challenges that interfere with his communication abilities or make him different. He's found that he can express himself through music. So he's devoted himself to music, and he was playing the piano, a piece he had created, a young boy. And then he went behind a curtain, and they're like, why is he behind the curtain? And then the curtain pulls back, and he's playing the drums to a song. He found a way to express himself. And he said the reason he wanted to do what he's doing is to show people that no matter what you're facing, no matter what is going on in your life, you can do it. You can do whatever it is that you imagine. You have the power to do that if you can release that fear, if you can release those obstacles that stand in your way. You have the power, the presence of God working forth as you, and it cannot be held back if you will let it. And that's what we're doing today. We're letting it. We're allowing it. So the first step in transformation I want to mention is release, letting go. Forgiveness is one form of release. And some people I have found just twitch when I use the word forgiveness. They mistakenly think that I'm referring to excusing bad behavior. That's not what forgiveness is. They think, it's letting someone off the hook so that they don't have the experience, the consequences of their actions. That's not really forgiveness either. Forgiveness is the weight that we carry ourselves about something that happened, and letting that weight fall away. Forgiveness is something that we do internally to release and let go of something. It doesn't mean that what that person did was right. It doesn't mean that there don't need to be some consequences of some sort. But what it means is I have more important things to do than to carry around my entire life what someone else did. I'm not going to allow someone else to be in control of my life by me thinking about what they did. It's up to us. We can release at any time. Now, this is Burning Bowl Sunday, and typically it's one of our, maybe the most attended service of the year. And each year we would gather and write on pieces of paper and put it in the fire. We would put on the sheet of paper something we wanted to release, something that was holding us back, something that just was getting in our way of fully expressing our divine self. Low self-esteem, fear, unforgiveness, whatever it was, fear of lack, something we wanted to release. We'd put it in the fire. This year we're using water. We're actually going to have a drive-through from 10:45 to 11:45. I'm looking at this like the ballot box. If you're in line by 11:45, we'll still serve you. And we'll have this drive-through that will come through the south parking lot and go around and exit out the north parking lot. There will be different stations where you'll be given a piece of paper, you can write on that. Then you'll come to a station, you can release that and let it go because it's dissolvable paper. It will dissolve in the water. And when we dissolve that in the water, we can see that, okay, I've released that. Water represents something that is cleansing, purifying. So we're releasing that into the water. And I have a short video. I went to the beach a couple of days ago. The surf is kind of high. It's getting even higher. Some of the swells are 30 feet high. And so I'd like to show just this short clip, and then I have some more things to say. Connect.
Okay, 2020.
2020. We're going to release this. The water is going to wash it away.
Perfect.
Just as we're using water today, see how that washed away? Just as we're using water today instead of fire, water is cleansing and washes it away. So we are releasing today whatever no longer serves us. So release that which is in your way and move forward boldly in the way that God is propelling and inspiring you. We wish you a prosperous, loving, and joy-filled 2021. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Good. Yeah, that was fun. I had to keep watching the waves because these big sneaker waves would come up and they could just take me away. But I love the symbolism of that, of washing away that which no longer serves us. So we are here to release. And we use affirmations and denials also to release. We affirm what it is that we're intending, what it is we're really wanting and knowing for our lives. And then denial is gently sweeping away, washing away that which no longer serves us. We also use our love. The power of love is extremely powerful in transformation. When, Jesus talked about the two greatest commandments, to love the Lord your God with all your mind, soul, heart, and strength, and the second, to love your neighbor as yourself. He knew that love was the most transformative power there is in the world. So when we are expressing our love, living our lives out of love for God, when we do our divine service for others and love others as we love ourselves, that is very transformative. And Sangha, That word Sangha is community. It's about a spiritual community supporting each other. And yes, you can grow and evolve independently, but it really, really helps to accelerate it if you have others to encourage you in your spiritual practice. That's why Unity in Marin exists, to encourage your spiritual practice. That's why we have these amazing classes and groups going on, like attitudinal healing and the men's group. And we have classes that are starting back up. This Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we have Getting Real with Race, where we're getting real with ourselves and releasing some of the prejudice or false ideas we have about race. Or soon we're going to, I believe it's on January 19th, we're going to be starting back up our Absolute Abundance class, which is phenomenal. Teaches deep spiritual principles. We've had one series of classes. Now we're starting a new series of classes in Absolute Abundance, led by Reverend Deanne from Unity San Francisco. And she does a phenomenal job. If you missed the first series, you can still join us in the second series. It's 10 classes long. And it will help transform your life. That is part of the meaning of Sangha. That's part of why we're doing this drive-through today. Because we miss seeing each other. We're going to have gloves on, we're going to have masks on, we're going to keep distant, but we want to, in some way, provide a way for community and being together. It's important to know that we're all in this together. We're going into this new year together. We're not alone, we're all here for each other. Our spiritual beliefs, all that which we have been learning here and continue to learn here, we express as new lives. We can always start anew. And so, even if you can't join us in the drive-through today, maybe you're in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, because we do have people all over the world who watch us. Find some way in which you can practice this at home. Maybe you can write something on paper and just soak it in water for a while and bury it. Or maybe you can put it in an envelope and address it. I don't know, you could address it to heaven. You could put heaven on there, put a stamp, put it in the mailbox, and let the post office take it to heaven. Think creatively. What are ways in which you can release and let go? There's lots of ways to do it. You can write it on the beach. I found that quite therapeutic. Maybe, I really want to avoid litter and stuff, but I've also been the part of balloon, where we have things on balloons and we release it. Be creative. What is a way in which you can release and let go? Let it go. Whatever it is that's in your way. You are too important to be hanging on to old baggage. I travel quite a bit, and recently I saw my suitcase and it's completely busted up. If you ever watch how luggage is being handled from airplanes, you see why they get busted up. And I thought, that baggage served me at one point. That suitcase served me at one point, but now it no longer serves me. Why would you want to hold on to old baggage that no longer serves you? This is your opportunity to release it, to let go, and let the presence of God living as you to come forth. I invite you to repeat these affirmations after me. I am the presence of God in action. I release anything in my way. I embrace the dream that wants to live as me. And so it is. Amen.